bet.
Start this over. Hold on 1 second. Hold up.
Looks like countdown is gone.
Okay, yeah, I removed it. Hang on 1 second. How do I quickly go on mute? I don't even know. What you need?
You're not.
I'm on stream game. What's that?
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, we talk about it as soon as I get upstairs. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Okay. All right. Let's go live. I'm sorry, Cychronic. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. I see that we're already live on YouTube and stuff, so.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. I'm still trying to get my bearings, you know, and with the whole setup and everything. Let's go live. I'm sorry, Cychronic. Are you and ready? Also, let me mute myself. I'm getting some feedback. Okay, great. Whew. Welcome everyone to the RTP podcast. Happy New Year. There's been a lot going on, and but we're back. It made it a little bit difficult going live last week and stuff like that. But we are back, and I think we're going to continue the podcast. We did. I'm jumping the gun. We got some news from D7. I think he's going to be a little bit too busy to podcast around this time. So while we work that out, me and Cychronic will be running the podcast until we get it all situated.
Yeah, D7 did mention that he anticipated that it was temporary.
Yep.
So we're just gonna keep trucking along and see what we can do.
Yeah. So man, yeah. Happy New Year, Cychronic. How you feeling? How was your holiday?
Busy. It's been busy. I'm looking forward to a little more chill, coming up, hopefully.
For sure. My holiday was crazy. Yeah, like we hosted family at our house, and I ended up getting a dog. It's my first pet
Okay.
ever. So I'm really
Oh,
trying to
really?
get used to. Yeah, I've never been a pet parent, and now that I am, they actually put us on the news. The SPCA came and donated our dog on Christmas, and her name's Cinder. She's like a poodle mix, really nice looking poodle, black dog. Um, and yeah, they delivered her on Christmas, and I was like, I was happy, but also, it's a lot of work trying to take care of the dog. Like all day, I'm like walking the dog, feeding the dog. Dog pooped on a carpet a couple of times, but now she's starting to get comfortable. Now she's starting to get in the cycle. And last night was the first night she actually slept through the night and didn't wake me up licking my face 3 a.m. So yeah, that's that. And also all this other stuff that I've been involved in. It's just been a lot. So really excited to be able to even get back into reviewing the games and stuff like that. And we have a lot of ideas for opening up the audience and bringing it, enlarging the community in the coming months. So look out for that. Yeah, so really excited to start this year off strong with our first game, which is called WOYO. This game's called WOYO. I found it looking at one of my favorite RPG makers, streamers, YouTubers, and he did like a top 10. I shared it in the community, and one of the games in his top 10 was this game called WOYO. Looks really unique, and I was thinking, we take a look at it, so I shared it with Cychronic and D7, and now we have the review. We're going to give you some feedback, and yeah. So WOYO, let me give you a little bit of a synopsis on this game here in a second. Hold on. Give me a second. New window. Okay. This is so crazy. Like I'm like trying new things. This is so stupid. So it is all over the place. Where is the gameplay? There it is. Okay. So I'm sorry, bear with me getting this together. The game is called WOYO. The description of the game goes as follows. Play as Sam, freshly arrived in Montreuil City in Paris's outskirts from his native countryside, who finds himself embroiled in a series of incredible adventures. Set off to discover this mysterious world where you'll meet colorful characters who will help you get to grips with local customs. Learn to harness the power of Shtrak, okay, it's literally SHTRAC, to face down the dangerous enemies that stand in your way. Pigeons, bandits, stroller moms, and other hoodlums, and beat the crap out of them like the madmen that you are. Will you be able to get out of the trouble, or will you find yourself in the middle of it all? Your fate is in your own hands. Okay. So I think we're playing a game that was made in French, but it was translated to English. Let's start with the story. I think.
So the story.
Go ahead, sorry. You fine.
Yeah, the story seems to be kind of like roughly speaking, as far as like the 3 hours or so that I played. The story seems to center around like you as the main, or the one guy as the main character. I don't remember his name.
Sam, I think.
Sam, yeah. And basically he in the beginning you name like the little town that you came from. You came from the rural countryside, and this is basically the city, and it's like almost a little bit kind of like the hood basically of Paris, I guess I'd say. And you you meet some friends. You're staying at Layla's place until you can find a place, but you end up basically like getting, I guess I would say, like slowly getting into the lifestyle of what this place has, what this place is like, as like, you know, like a degenerate, you know, degenerating into this lifestyle of, you know, it's kind of fun actually. You know, this game kind of reminds me of like it's like if you had if you and a bunch of friends like made a game and just like went for it, but like didn't know all the details of how to make a game, but like you just went for it. You know, that's kind of what it felt like to me. I kind of liked the characters. They were like endearing, you know, and had you know, character personality, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the game is a little bit basic, a little bit jank basic, but it wasn't, and it had some bugs. Yeah, it had some bugs, but I don't want to. We can go into that later, but yeah, and you kind of get wrapped up in like these little side hustles and stuff like that, and then one thing leads to another, and I'm curious where it will go. Like, how much have you played of the story?
Yeah, so I would say story-wise, it's sort of like a isekai. I don't know how much I played of the story, but because I don't know how long the game is. I didn't beat it. But I think that I didn't get to a point where the main overarching like plot was like presented yet, right? And so I'm not sure how far that'll be. I probably played like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I got to the point where you were trying to sneak into the bot, like, because after like your friend stole the weed, you got into trouble with the boss, and so then you had to go sneak back in there and find the boss. That's kind of like where I ended.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of getting to something thicker than what I was in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing. So like taking it back to what I think is like an isekai, right? I think it's like Sam, out of town Sam, comes to inner city. He doesn't know about weed. Pretty much not even about like alcohol, like a little bit, but not much.
And he said he didn't smoke and stuff.
Right,
like
so he didn't smoke. So he's like a green guy, right? Pretty green. Getting introduced to this like urban lifestyle. That's a little more like extreme with the drug use, right? I wouldn't say like really really bad drugs, but it's like it reminds me of this one movie. I don't know if it was How High or something like that with Dave Chappelle. Yeah, but anyway, it reminds me of that Dave Chappelle movie that's very similar to this.
Yeah, I can see that.
About getting high. And they go on some, like, it's more like, what is it called? It's more like Friends, or I wouldn't even say, yeah, it's more like Friends, the sitcom is like that-esque a little bit, like Friends hanging out, and then you have a couple of adventures, like little small adventures. So what I've done so far is I met my friends, and you know, we had to go to a park to get something from somebody, but we run into our first fight, and you learn combat, and that's pretty goofy. But then they have a house party, and from the house party they move into like you have to like literally like walk down the street while you're drunk. You get into like a drunken altercation, and then I think you obviously, my problem with that pacing is you don't get to save while you're doing that. I think it has some sort of auto save somewhere, but after that,
no, eventually you can save manually when you get the cell phone.
The cell phone. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, so, right after
it doesn't pop up until you're like 30 minutes in or something.
Really far into the game. Yeah, pretty far into the game. Like me personally, I think what happens is I typically start up a game and I immediately want to save it because I can't tell when I have to step away or if my computer shuts down. I mean, not like it always shuts down, but you know what I mean? Just in case, you just need to be like, okay, I opened the app, I saved it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would just be my little like gripe about that. But yeah, I think the story has it's okay enough. I would say, as far as its pacing.
Yeah, it was kind of. Well, I thought that the like, I wouldn't say so much that like the plot is very heavy, but it's got memorable characters, and, and they have a good chemistry, and it's like you kind of want to find out what happens to them and stuff.
Yeah. Right now in my game, Layla is gone. I think she I forgot what she went out of town for, but she went to Poland. Yeah.
She went to Poland.
Yeah, she said she was going to Poland. Yeah. And like you said,
it was like some kind of like music festival or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
But like you said, the characters that their interactions are pretty endearing. Like I guess like they seem believable as friends. And what helps is those little like the bus and how they use the custom images to show emotion and stuff like that. And I think it's good. It's pretty good writing too. It's pretty interesting writing has some pretty punchy jokes that keep you interested in the dialogue. So I think I actually like that really stands out about this game, like the dialogue. So I'm in the mountain climbing phase. I don't want to say mountain. I'm like in the park and you got to climb the mountain. I thought that was like the game. I thought that would be the game's like first dungeon. Like, okay, you gotta be battling, kind of grinding a little bit. But we just got to the top, and I think they started smoking, and that's kind of as far as I got.
Did you run into the? I ran into a major bug at that point.
Yeah, I did. So I just continued on without using that feature.
Without learning new skills.
Yeah, I didn't even use the skill tree. So I used the skill tree, but then the bug was so bad it was like a lighting issue where it just put the light right over your character.
It's a small circle. It's because when you're using the skill tree, there's a small circle around the skill that you're looking at, so you don't see all the other skills at the same time. But once you get out of the skill tree, then that little tiny circle is around your character, and it's permanent. And so, you can't see anything further than like 40 pixels away from your character.
Yeah, so bad.
And I was like, man, is this? At first, I thought it was intentional, and I was like, wait a minute, this is just a bug.
Yikes!
This is a really bad bug.
Yeah, I guarantee. So it's like I think like it needs a little bit of polish around that feature specifically, because I don't even think they need to really hide the skill tree. They could just make it so that you can't really navigate past it, maybe, right? Like you can't select, like until you're level 3, you can't select those options that are for level 3, right? Because if you go and select them, it'll be like you're not level 3. It'll say what it is and say you're not the level whatever anyway. So yeah, I just think like it should just get fleshed out. I mean that has to be fixed. But more urgently, it should get fixed, like super urgently, because this game is on Steam right now for like 16 and some change. So it's probably like a French conversion from probably like $20 or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Did you buy the game?
I bought the game. Yeah, I bought the game for sure. And I think I bought it for its uniqueness, but I do feel like, hey, I didn't know it would have such a bug, right? That's a pretty important bug. Got to get in contact with the developer or something. Yeah, it's a major bug. But guess what? My biggest problem was
pretty easy to fix. Probably pretty easy to fix though.
Yeah, and I can't request a refund because I left my computer running with the game running, and now I have 17 hours played on the game as far as Steam. So I don't know. I'm stuck with it. But yeah, I hope if I can get in contact with the developer and let them know that that's having an issue. I can actually play the game as it's meant to be played. I tried to go into the developer tools in the Chrome, but I couldn't pull it up. I think it was like F11, right? Usually when you're debugging a game in RPG Maker, or F12.
Well, it's because this is RPG Maker VX Ace, which isn't browser based. So MV and MZ are web based, which means that the Chrome console is going to work for that, but it's not going to work for VX Ace and below because they run natively. They don't run as like a web app.
Oh, so how'd you
So
know it was
that's
the
why.
VX Ace because of the player? Did you look at the
Because of the way
RGs?
it looked, because of the icon of the game.exe and the way that it looks, and when it pops up on the screen and stuff, I just know.
Got it. Okay, okay.
And VX Ace, because I've been on the RPG Maker since literally the early 2000s
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
late 90s. So
Yeah.
so like I remember what each one. I was on 2003 for the longest time. That was the one that I liked for a long time.
Oh, okay.
2003.
Yeah, that's the last one I
I
used.
basically Yeah, and then I basically used it for way too long, and then skipped over to MV.
Right, right.
directly, pretty much.
Oh wow, that's probably what I would have did anyway because I left when XP came out. It was like XP, then VX, then VX Ace, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And that whole gap, I was gone. But I was just watching. I was hoping they would make it fun again. So not saying like they weren't fun.
I
But
was there. I was there during the time, but I just didn't get much out of VX or XP. I just kind of I was like playing around with them, but I didn't make any serious projects. And then my next serious project was MV.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, nice to see D7's tuned in still. How's it going, man? I see you just threw a message in the chat. Dang. So yeah, I think like do we want to I'm thinking we should give some sort of this game is published, it's out, we touched it, so we should give some sort of semblance of a story rating.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think like I really liked the characters. I like all of them were like they felt like real people, which is really cool. Um, I didn't detect, as far as what I played so far, I didn't detect much of a plot. It's kind of like you're just living their life and kind of like running into like random street adventures and stuff. So I'll say that it feels a little weak plot wise, but it also feels pretty strong character wise. And so like if I average it out, I want to say like an 8. I want to say like an 8.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, and I kind of feel like that too. Really, like what got me into it. I think I have to give it an 8. And I feel like that's kind of bad on my part because I didn't get far enough into the story to experience the actual, like, I guess I'm gonna call it like the main plot, right? And I don't want to deduct points because
it was heating up. It was getting better as it went along.
Okay.
It was getting better.
I don't want to deduct points for not being able to experience that immediately. You know how some games like Ganondorf comes up, breaks a Master Sword, that's your problem, right? Straight up. But
yeah,
some games kind of ease you in with some wacky adventures that you kind of experience to get a bond between your characters. And I started to feel in the bond, like, okay, Yellow Hat dudes, he's like the tank. Dreads dude, he's like a Ludus. But they're funny in their own ways. They have their own attitudes and stuff. And Layla is pretty like kind of cheery and stuff. Yeah. And then the lady with the bottle, the alcoholic lady, that was probably like one of the funniest, most memorable parts of the game. So like as far as much as I played, so yeah, I think it's super solid.
I like that part too. Yeah.
My only criticism is like because I can't make it a 9 or a 10 is I think it was just that like the amount that I played, I wasn't able to, I guess, even get a taste of what the main plot would be or what my purpose would be. All right, hold up.
Yeah. So, sorry guys about the microphone. Like for some reason, whenever we do these streams, my microphone automatically auto adjusts to be completely silent, and then I don't know if there's a way to like have the computer ignore any program trying to change the level of the microphone, because there is one microphone volume that is perfect for my microphone, and I would rather just set it to that and never have to think about it again because it's just always at the right level. But Windows even if you uncheck that box to don't let programs control the microphone, for some reason they all do anyway, and they always aggressively auto volume it down to like very quiet. So I apologize for that.
Yeah.
But it's annoying. It pisses me off. I want to find a way to make it permanently stay at that one fucking setting that I like. But I'll figure it out.
All right, so my gripe isn't the voice volume, it's the tap dancing on the keyboard thing. I think that was like kind of a little bit loud today, louder than usual. So let's move on. Do we usually do gameplay or presentation first? I'm thinking.
I think we do. I think we do. It doesn't. We've done them in different orders before. Okay. What do you want to? What do you prefer to talk about first?
Yeah, I just got gameplay on my mind. I think both actually, but I do want to get the gameplay out of the way because I think presentations really stand out. It's kind of like what's holding this game up, in my opinion. So, but gameplay, I think it's typical RPG with a couple of unique twists, and I think that they give a fresh or semi, I would say, I ain't gonna say it's like super fresh, but a fresher than usual take on the RPG formula with the like alcohol and, you know, inebriated related statuses, and then the skill tree that they throw in there. So I think it was just giving you a little bit of a different than, you know, completely out of the box usual gameplay style. And then they introduced some of the inebriation effects even on the map when like you gotta like walk home and you can't figure out your way home because it's like you're drunk, and it's a little rudimentary, but I think the thought of it and the way it's implemented is kind of funny. It's amusing.
Yeah, when I was playing the game on that part, I was like, "Oh, has your brain ever done that before? Mine has."
Right, exactly.
Where everything's just broken.
Yeah.
That was kind of that part was funny. I like that part.
Right. And also when you got to climb, well, I keep saying climb the mountain, but like it's a park, but they want to go to the top of the hill in the park. There's this the way you have to get there is some goofy, like.
It's like really janky, but for some reason it's kind of funny.
Right. So I think as you begin going up the hill, you see one girl. She's like doing it. It's like she's like falling down the hill. The way it looks is just like it looks like a sprite is twisting around or whatever. But like it looks like the sprite like rotates 90 degrees and then rotates back up as it's like falling.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then you have to go and do it, right? So, like, you have to do it yourself. I screwed up a couple times, but then I got it. Good thing you don't take damage while you're attempting. And then you have to use some of the posts to kind of boost yourself across, like, whatever. But I just thought it was unique. It wasn't like... Maybe I think it could have been enhanced or, like, assisted a little bit because somebody could consistently fail if they didn't know that they had to, like... land on a post, get bumped up, and then land on another post in order to get across, like the one particular one I was on. But other than that, it was like, yeah, I'm doing funner things than just running around, talking to people, sleeping at an inn. You know, it felt like I was doing whatever, you know, I guess friends that are high are just doing or whatever, and it seemed like it fit the game, right? So I wanted to bring light to that. What you think, Sagar?
I thought that at first I was like, what the fuck is going on when I tried to learn a skill from the skill tree and I was trying to do the mountain thing with a really tiny like circle around my character, and I was like, oh, I have to go back to a previous save file. So I went back, and then I did figure it out eventually. I thought it was kind of janky. I wouldn't call it good, but it was kind of fun, you know. It was just kind of funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that the stronger point in this game is the gameplay necessarily. I think the gameplay is pretty basic.
Right.
what kind of holds it together for me is it was basically the characters and their interactions and stuff that kind of like, because like for me, right, like gameplay is important, but when I play an RPG, it's about the story, so or the characters and the story. So like even if the gameplay is like not that great, I'll still kind of be into it if I like the story and the characters a little bit.
Yeah. So I think so we're going to get to the presentation, but I think that the presentation enhanced the gameplay, and I would say immersion comes. It's like a crossroads between gameplay and presentation. When the presentation is enough to make you feel like you're in the world, and the gameplay is facilitated by that, in like really simple ways, like so at the party, for instance, right? At the party, you go and talk to people, and they have their specific interactions, which are goofy. Some are goofy, some are sad, some are like gross or whatever. But that's like your gameplay. You're told to walk around and try to make friends at the party, and your experience is based on like who you talk to, and then you kind of wrap it up after you've talked to enough people, and then you proceed. You meet your bottle wielding friend that you have to walk to the store with. Yeah, so I think like
Zelly or something, I think was her name, or something like that.
Yeah. I think yep. I don't remember actually. No, okay, but yeah.
Or maybe it was Zell or something. I don't know. It was something with a Z though. I remember that.
Yeah, what's showing on screen right now is actually the party. So we're gonna see it in a second. But yeah, you're doing the same thing I had to do. Walk around, talk to all the people until the little area opens up, and you can go talk to the drunken woman, right? Looking at the chat, D7 just said he gave it a 7 for story. Hey, like I said, I appreciate you like chiming in and stuff, man. I know you're busy. If you want to elaborate, let me know what made it a 7 for you, or how it could be better, for sure.
It's also the type of story. I could see why this type of story wouldn't appeal to everyone.
Right.
Sure.
There's that.
I like it just fine. I like these kind of stories just fine, but like I could see why someone wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's that.
But I would have I gave it an 8. I liked it.
Right.
As far as.
For sure. Then there's like as far as combat is concerned, I just seen it as like goofy, didn't take it seriously at all. I liked how it had the
the game does not take itself too seriously, which
right.
I like. They're again, I go back to like it felt like if you had like a group of friends and you just were like, let's make a game, and like you didn't necessarily, you had some rough edges, but you just went for it. That's kind of what I feel like.
Yeah, but see, okay, so I see what you're saying, Cychronic, but to go on a tangent for a second, me personally, if I was gonna make a game with a friend, I'm more of like I said, I play Elden Ring, so I'm kind of like a challenging type of guy. Either like I would be more so going down the road of, okay, trying to get my friends to lose in a game, or what's that, roguelike type of game, because if I'm going to be playing it, like this is just my envisioning. I haven't even went into this yet, like actually make a game with a friend or a team yet, but I would like to enjoy it as I'm playing it, and having multiple playthroughs be a little bit different. So I see where you going, and I think like it'd be cool and like fun as hell to make like a wacky game.
Because the bus probably came from the people who made the game, right?
For sure.
I mean, that seems like my best guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah. But to your side, like I guess I'm just giving like the parts that would kind of be front of mind for me, like the actual gameplay mechanics. But I can also see, like, as soon as I booted the game up, let me see if I'm in the center of my camera. It's weird. When I booted the game up, I saw how like I felt it, right? I felt like these people were shooting and producing, writing scripts, putting together the scene, and that probably was the fun for them, right? Like building the wacky interactions between the people, building the comedy and stuff, and then them seeing their own faces and reactions being used for the characters. That's probably got to be like a ton of fun in itself. So yeah, I can see how like and at that point, you just want to, I guess, like, yeah, the gameplay, the actual like fighting mechanics is probably more relaxed, probably more casual, probably more wacky to that effect, right? So yeah, I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun to see this angle, and it's fun to like play this angle of the game. Where me personally, I would be playing it like, okay, where's the best sword? Where do I grind enemies? Like for instance, I thought that little climbing the like I mentioned earlier, the park level, I thought it was going to be like, all right, here's my first quote unquote dungeon, and here's where I'm going to grind my guy past level 2, whatever. But it was just kind of like a jaunt through the park. It was a funny adventure, you know. So yeah,
It's pretty lighthearted. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm trying to think. Oh, there's the cell phone. That's a whole gameplay feature in itself, right? You get the cell phone after
the cell phone takes the place of the main menu. Yeah.
Yep. But you can also listen to the radio on it. You can send and receive text messages on it. It's all like kind of rudimentary, but and that's where your, like you said, your main menu is. And I think I saw that you had unlocked a couple more features more than what I had from the start, or you was able to see your skill tree and stuff like that after it was introduced. You was able to see, I guess, go to a skill tree in your phone. So I thought that was cool, like little simple, implementation to show like you're playing like a more modern game. I mean, a modern story.
Yeah, but they probably should have put it in there sooner, like near the beginning. Like it was kind of awkward to not have a menu at all, and then suddenly, like 45 minutes in, you have your menu.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a really good criticism right there. Any other gameplay elements worth mentioning?
Well, the gameplay part's related to like walking around, getting into these little random adventures, these little side hustles and stuff. It's fun. The combat to me felt just like basic, like RPG Maker, but they put a funny spin on it because the battlers they look like realistic people, and it's kind of funny to see that. Yeah, but I felt like the gameplay itself was a little. There was quite a few bugs too. I just feel like it's a little weak, but it's also got some. I would say it's got some elements that I like and some things that need a little bit of work. But again, I go back to the characters and the chemistry between them kind of carried the game for me the most, I'd say.
Cool. Let me recap D7's remark on story. So he says it has neither anything to attract you except character lore, but it's more realistic than fantasy, so 7 is fair. Okay, so he's saying the story seems a little bit restrictive to the lore of the characters, and I'm guessing by exclusion, by deducing, you're talking about it's other than the story lore, the atmosphere, like certain item lore and stuff like that. Like it doesn't have that. So I guess I see where you're going with your comment. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what you think about what kind of score would you give this gameplay?
For the gameplay, I'd say it's like I'd say it's probably like probably like a 6.5.
Okay.
Gameplay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And me, I'm thinking, like I said, so it takes it's giving you an immersion experience, in a simple, rudimentary way, kind of. I wouldn't say like super rudimentary. I hate using that word, but like it's not over the top. So, but they're trying to convey a sense of of inebriation, a sense of like a fish out of water, a sense of weirdness in the gameplay, and it is more fun than I would have expected of the game. And we're going to talk about the cost though, because I kind of feel like the cost ratio is a little bit off. But anyway, I think for the most part, I'm going to give it a 7. Not so much because of the bugs. The bugs really marred it. I think they've got to get addressed. But the pacing, for instance, in the battle, it did throw you in a battle, and it teaches you. It's kind of funny the way it teaches you, and it makes it simple.
Yeah, it has good aspects to it for sure.
Yeah, and then I'm also, don't get me started, because I have like some weird attention problem. I think where even if I'm playing a game that I'm liking, my focus can break from it. So I don't want to use that to kind of what do you call it, like sway my decision, because honestly I can figure out a game that would probably be pretty fun for somebody, especially if they want to play a RPG. But it's just the whole fact that it's an RPG that it gives you a certain sense, like as I don't know, there's like a certain max amount of fun that can be had in it, like a max amount of attention or excitement that can be had in it, right, at any given time for this type of game. So I mean, like imagine playing Mahjong. You're not gonna be like, oh, this Mahjong game is so much fun than like Tekken 8 or whatever, right? Like it's just so crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are looking for a stimulating experience, challenging their mental, or giving them like a fresh viewpoint or something like that, or in-depth story, and you're hanging on to a specific detail. There's different like types of fun. There's different ways to have fun. So I don't want to be like, man, it's a 5 for me because I fell asleep. You know what I mean? I'm just...
Yeah, no, it wasn't... Yeah, it definitely wasn't making me fall asleep. I did enjoy it, for sure.
Cool. So,
it's just kind of a quirky, kind of a wacky game, but I mean, I like it.
Right.
But
yeah.
It also had some serious bugs, and the gameplay wise is kind of basic, but you know, like again, I go back to I like the characters, but
I think your score's fair. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the bugs, like that's like it's a retail game. They want 15 minimum on itch. It needs to be addressed. That's like, imagine a Ubisoft game trying to make you pay any sort of money for something that you can't even play to the end. So it's something that really needs to get addressed.
Yeah, I do think that the I do think that the price is a little high for the game, as far as what I would pay for.
Yeah.
But
so let's get into that right after presentation. But even before that, I'm going to speak to the ghost of D7 out there, and if you have a suggestion, if you have a rating for the game, I'll record it. So I'll look out for your chat message. Let me know what you think about the gameplay. So, but even before that, even before we get to presentation, let's take a small moment to, I guess, chat about some of the things that are coming up, some of the news that we've heard, and some of the things we're looking forward to in future episodes. So yeah, first off, there was that RPG Maker contest. I think you entered, Cychronic. What'd you think about that?
What contest?
I'm sorry, was it a... Alright, you're gonna make me mess up my screen by going into Discord. Hold on. It's something I posted about, like a RPG Maker.
Isn't it the RPG Maker Festival?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's not a contest, it's a festival.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where if you've made an RPG Maker game, it shows up in Steam on under RPG Maker, and you sometimes get a few more purchases or wish lists during them, sometimes not. So but since it's free and everything, every year I just sign my games up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, if you're a developer or if you are a RPG Maker game enjoyer, yeah, definitely look forward to the RPG Maker Festival, and our co-host Cychronics game will be in there. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check it out and share that with your friends. Share this channel with your friends, and let them know, that you like these type of games, or you're a maker in this space. And what we're trying to do is really like grow our community, and it'd be great to bring light to this genre of games, and even more games that are kind of like more indie focused. So yeah, I'll look out for the festival. And it was funny seeing your name in the honorable mention for my YouTuber's game. He saw Starship Rebellion was in that honorable mention, so I thought that was awesome too.
Yeah, I think Riggy, when there was like I forget what it was, but there was like a situation where like lots of games were being played, and he played like a few hours of my game, and glad he liked it. It hits some people, right, but it's not everyone's type of game either. So yeah, but I'm just trying to make them better and better. I think of them as like because I'm trying to make a franchise that's kind of like Star Trek, but my own thing, not just a copy of Star Trek. And I feel like RPG Maker, not just RPG Maker, but RPGs are a really good way to do something like that, because let's say if you're like trying to do film or something, there's like a whole ecosystem there that's like set. Like you're not going to be able to make a movie or a TV show yourself and have it be like on Netflix or something, but you can do that with a game, right? So yeah, you can make a really a complex story with lots of cool stuff in it, and I almost see it like I'm a super low budget film director almost.
For sure.
Is how I'm presenting my like if I'm writing a script for a TV show or a movie or something, but like in game form.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to tell you, like so we met this weekend to plan for this video, and then I told you a bit about the idea I had for my game. I am going to take my game story. There's a writers guild that critiques scripts here in my city. I'm actually a part of that group, so I'm going to take my script to them, get it looked over it and proofread and stuff like that, because that's how serious I see my game, right? I'm going to be a writer director as well, so it needs that same criticism as if I was writing a book or a movie. So for sure. And I've seen some of the plugins and some of the like action sequences and some of the cutscenes you created, man, and they're like top tier. I think they're top tier for the engine, you know what I'm saying? It's like really pushing the limits of the engine. So really, yeah, I think like really considerable.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. I just wanted to answer Part-Time Experience's comment. He says RPGs are great for a series, but if you have to determine early on if each entry into the series is standalone, a continuation of a previous game, or in a shared universe. So I would say that in my games, by the way, they are all standalone, meaning you could play them on their own without playing any of the others, and it's its own thing. However, there are threads from each of the games that you'll see in the other games, and if you played the previous game, you'll look at it and go, oh, but if you didn't see it, it doesn't ruin it or anything. It's not like, oh, I'm lost, I don't know what's going on, or whatever, right? So, and then in Starship Legacy, which is going to be like the capstone project, that's when the player from the beginning picks their species and has more like agency, like your choices will affect the ending and stuff like that. But all these previous characters from these other threads will come together in that game, kind of like a Suikoden with like the 108 stars of destiny. I don't think I'm going to have 108, but it'll be kind of like that. And then you will know who some of these people are because you've seen them in previous titles. But again, if you don't know who they are and you play the last one first, it won't ruin it or anything. So that's how I'm approaching it. I could maybe I'll fail, but that's my idea for how I'm trying to handle it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to go for the one, and then the two, and then the three, or anything like that. And none of the games are like direct sequels to a previous game. So that's why I named them their own thing, because they're in the shared space, but they are each their own plot. They might relate to other stuff in other games, but its own thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what else did I have to bring up? Oh, our Steam curator page. So Cychronic, you created a Steam curator page in Steam. Did I say that? Okay, a Steam curator.
Yeah, and we've gotten a few offers sent to us too.
Cool.
Since we did that.
So yeah, we're gonna be referencing that soon, and looking and keeping that rolling and building that, so you guys, newcomers can come in and see what games are worth playing, and what games we recommend, and any sort of introduction to this community that's like fun, right? So yeah, I think I'm just going to reiterate one more time. Yeah, share this video with your friends. Share it at your local. In your little space. Share it on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and bring new folks in. We love to have y'all, and excited to enlarge the channel in the new year. And let us know if you have any suggestions of any maybe some games that are created outside of RPG Maker that are indie and are pretty fun. Feel free to invite those creators and those players, and also those games. We're still looking for game requests and stuff as well, so if you feel free to keep all of that coming. And with that said, let's get back to WOYO and talk about the presentation. So me personally, I think the presentation is probably the standout feature of this game particularly, and I really think it sets it apart from other run-in-the-mill knock games, RPG Maker games. What do you think, Cychronic?
I have a mixed opinion of the presentation. I actually think it, in some ways, it does feel like it's kind of slapped together.
Yeah.
But it is, but it's also unique. It's also like, it's got its own unique style going on, like the realistic character busts with and stuff like that. But the I've seen a lot of these tile sets before. They're a lot of, it's like a lot of really basic tile set from I don't think it's directly RTP, but I think it's like from one of the bigger packs from back in the VX Ace era. I've seen a lot of these before. But again, like I don't think that the people making this game were like have been like heavy game developers or anything. I think that they do something else, and they figured out how to use RPG Maker to like tell their story. But a lot of the like presentation is kind of, and with like the bugs and stuff, there's I have some issues, but again, I would say, yeah, I have a mixed opinion. There's some things I like about the presentation, and there's some things that it needed to be like baked in the oven a little more.
Mm-hmm,
but
for sure.
But it didn't ruin it for me though. It wasn't ruined, but yeah, there was some stuff like if you walk by a bench, your head passes under the bench. And,
yes.
Just lots of little shit like that
that
you see in a lot of games. But yeah, it was. I mean, the presentation was okay. It looks kind of janky too. Like in some ways the game looks a little janky.
Yeah.
Like there was like this micro jitter. There's like weird micro jitter when you're running around like at all times.
Yeah, I had that too. Hey, but real quick, somebody said that sounded broken. Oh, part-time experience. What sounded broken? Please let me know. It probably was me and my whole I don't know, ad spot trying to plug new members and junk. But hey, I'm new to this, and I think I'll get better. But let me know.
Or sometimes like the call cuts out a little bit.
No. So he replied. He replied real fast. He said when you drop something. So that, let me tell you what that was. That actually wasn't anything dropped. That was my feet. I was trying to prop my feet up like on my cabinet. I got this little like file cabinet, and then my foot slipped off, and then I hit this There's some sort of anchor I got here from my headphones, and I ripped it. Anyway, yeah. I was trying to be lazy, and it didn't go well. Yeah, I was trying to get comfy, and it didn't go well at all. But yeah, back to your saying, Psychronic. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what I was saying, what I was saying was that I like the character busts. They really enhance the characters as far as their interactions. I didn't really like the mapping. I thought the mapping looks really basic and like just RTP out of the box, pretty much. They did add some custom stuff to it. Like I like the little cell phone and stuff like that. Some of the icons look like don't necessarily go together, but meh. This skill tree, I didn't really like the way that this skill tree was presented very much.
It's very yikes.
Not only did it break the rest of the game if you try to use it, but just looking at it like this, it's like you have to go to each spot to see what the skill is, and I'd prefer, yeah, sure, you can't train, it's grayed out or something, knowing that you can't learn it until you're at that level, but I'd like to be able to see what it is first, instead of just it being cut off to this little circle like that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that feature came a little late, the little hiding feature, because the unacquired skills are sort of grayed out already. And you can move to them, like I was saying, you can navigate to them. So I would say just make it so that you can navigate to them. And yeah, like this is much yikes. Like nobody wants to press. I think you got to press D and then appear here in this dark void of numbers, right? So
it'd be better to just have like a cursor and just have it be like not covered in black around, something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if anything weed or alcohol related, like you could how could you or urban related, like if you collect I don't know, when you smoke weed you get the munchies, or when you go to the grocery store you got to get these weird like items, like I don't know, rolling papers and junk like that. Or like where do you keep all of your smoking stuff in your bag? I don't know, like I would have themed this skill tree in some sort of I guess smokers type of presentation. Somebody said,
what do you mean by smokers presentation?
Oh, so I would say like I don't want to say smokers specifically because they have a lot of different like methods of inebriation, like smoking the ganja versus the tobacco versus the alcohol, right? But I would have said maybe you've got a table and you've got all of these different products on the table, or a tree, a literal tree, like a weed plant, and your skills are strewn out along the weed plants or something like that, right? And then show it, right? So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah,
that'd be cute.
Cool. So I see where presentation could really use work, but when I want to go back to thanks for reminding me, it was Riggy2K3, I think it's his channel. When the reason why he did why he put this in his top 10, I'm thinking is because of some of the wacky there's like, I think there's cutscenes in here, and then the wacky Mortal Kombat-esque design choice to have the live action pictures and stuff like that, and then also like the expressions, like okay, so when they're talking they change the expressions, and then the characters, the voice actors dressed up as the sprites or vice versa, right? But so they like, it looks like they kind of gave a bit of an effort to kind of make them look like each other, and it's goofy enough to look at it. Okay, you see, yellow hat dude, he's literally just got the yellow hat, and then his live action was like a yellow hat, and I don't know, like it's that part that really resonates with me, and I'm just like, it's a goofy game, it's funny, you can feel connected
it's quirky
enough to enjoy it. Yeah,
I like it,
and it makes it stand out.
So this is Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but on the screen right now, this is the bug.
I
Right?
see.
This is the bug where if you try to use the skill tree and exit, you have this permanent small little circle around you forever.
Yeah.
So if you don't catch that, you're screwed. I tried even saving the game and then reloading it, and it's still there. So like,
me too.
Like, yeah,
I'm surprised you even made it that far. Yeah. I'm surprised you like even tried to play it like this. Cause I was
no, because at first I didn't get it. At first I thought it was like they did it intentionally, and then I was like, oh wait a minute, this is a bug. Like I was getting frustrated in the video. I was like, why did they do this way? This is really this is ruining it for me. And then I'm like, oh, this is a bug. Dude,
I do not want to cut you off, but we literally have Riggy2K3 in the chat right now. He's like, WOYO, yeah. Thanks, man. We're like really big fans of your channel. Thanks for bringing so much light to the RPG Maker community, and glad you popped into our chat to see us review this game that we got from you. So that's just cool. He says, I thought this game was hilarious and stood out. Thanks for acknowledging my video, man. Hell yeah. And he's like, oof, massive buck. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Let me know if you got this bug, Riggy, right? Because it is based on the skill tree. So the skill tree creates this bug. So we couldn't develop our character because we got this bug.
Yeah.
Cool. For sure. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, presentation is like the standout thing for this game. I think it really brings some uniqueness and a fresh take on RPG Maker game, right? So big kudos for that. As far as like a rating, what do you think?
As for the presentation, right? Like, okay, there's some things I like about it. As I said, I like the character busts. I like how it's presented in like a funny and quirky way, and it's endearing. However, there are quite a few major bugs. And there's some aspects of it that seem kind of janky to me, and so I'm gonna have to give the presentation like a 6.
Okay, hey, man.
But there's parts about it I like. Let me put it like.
Got it. So I just flashback.
It doesn't take itself too It does not take itself too seriously though. So like that's what it's it's not like. I guess it's like the type of game that it doesn't matter as much that it looks extremely professional and stuff like that, but it's still at the end I have to give it a 6. I'm sorry.
Hey, your review is your review, right? So stand by that. But you just flashed me back to when IGN gave the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10 and said it was just good. And now it's like one of the highest selling consoles of all time. Well, anyway, they're talking about the Switch 2 and stuff like that, like coming soon, being announced soon and junk like that. So it just like popped in my head. I can't give this a 9 or a 10 for the presentation. I don't even know. I'd probably be stretching it if I gave it an 8. But I am going to give it an 8 as protest because I have to hammer home how much effort they put into making this game stand out and look like unique.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's unique for sure.
So it's like the name of the game is WOYO. It's a goofy icon. The background is a little different. It's showing like this is inner city. It looks like an episode of Friends plus weed. It's like really like leaning into it's narrative, right? Friends going around doing what friends do, getting into their city, troubles and business and stuff, but utilizing the inebriation as kind of like some goofy way of like getting an edge in combat and other aspects of their adventure, and it looks like the designer had that much of a vision in mind to make it like a unique experience. So I mean, it looks like fun, right? Everybody shouldn't do live action images and rips and stuff like that. But I think when they take it and put it, okay, you're in the city, it's fitting for that type of deal. So
yeah, and I have a strong suspicion that the characters in this game are the people who made the game.
Yeah, and I think that'd be like even more icing on the cake if that was the case, because that's where the passion really lies. So yeah, it's going to get an 8 from me for presentation. Just like I said, we like presentation really sets the tone. It makes your game stand out, and we want these games that people, our community spends so much time making to be discovered. How'd you get into a fight with pigeons? Dang, I want to go fight the pigeons
Yeah.
now. Dang. Okay, so
Yep, I ran into him.
all right, so what you give it, a
Touched him.
6?
That's how it happened.
Did you give it a 6 in presentation, right?
Yeah, I gave it a 6. Yeah. And again, it's not, and I don't want to say 6. I don't want to say it like it's a 6 across the board. I feel like there's parts of it that are like higher than that, and parts that are lower than that.
In the average, yep.
To 6.
I get what you're trying to say. I feel like you're being more critical, which honestly usually I am, and you're being more like judging it for what it is, because there's some places that should be improved, and then the rest of the points is literally the positives that we're all talking about. So
yeah, for sure.
Right. And also again, goes to D7. I'll probably bug you in Discord, to get your scores as well, so we can keep all of this for our later videos and when you come back. But yeah, finally, let's get into the pricey, spicy elephant in the room. This game, I bought it on Steam. It was like $16.38, and I think for an indie RPG Maker game with some kind of interesting bugs, that's a little bit pricey.
It's a little steep.
Yeah.
Little steep.
So what do you think this game probably should have been priced at, Psychronic, and what are your thoughts about the pricing?
Well, it's hard to say. I honestly feel like this is a game that might be better. I mean, because like if you look at like how long it's been out, and like it hasn't even gotten its first 10 reviews yet, so it's probably hasn't sold that many. But I think part of that is probably due to the price being too high. I mean, I think $15 is a little high for this. I think this would maybe be at this point, because the sales aren't going to come rolling in. I don't think at this point they'd probably be better to just make it a free game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So,
but if I had to put a price on it, I'd say like anything from like $4.99 to $9.99 would probably be okay.
Okay. So this is how I would. Good.
Yeah. And then maybe make it like $9.99, and then like reduce it for every sale that you can, and then because like on Steam, that's how you make your money. Is through sales. Exactly. Like when there's a sale. So like for example, like my game, I still get like decent, or it's not. I wouldn't call it decent. So far, my last game has made about like $3,000. So not that much, but it keeps rolling in when sales happen, and when it rolls in the most is when the sale is pretty steep too. So like when it's 70% off or something, I get like more.
That's exactly.
I get more sales than if I make it 20% off, or if there's no sale, it's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so every sale I can, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna make it like 75% off, and then it usually makes like $200 or $300 each sale, but. And keep in mind too, I did a lot wrong with the launch of my game. Like I did things over the course of 2 years, and I did them in the wrong order and stuff, and I didn't promo it right. So so the launch wasn't like a total success or anything. But I'm not really worried about it. I just have learned a lot from each launch, and I just keep trying to do better the next time.
Yeah.
And it does get better over time. Yeah, with more practice and learning more, and it's fun. Yeah,
for sure. So that's what I was going to mention. The price says a lot about the value of the game, and you can kind of finesse that by giving it a pretty almost a price that you wouldn't buy unless it was on a sale, and then put it on a steep sale. So what the user is seeing, the player is seeing, is like, oh, this game was like $15, but now it's I don't know, $3. I can get it for $3. What? Let me hurry up and grab this. Or even like $6, $7 or something like that. It's like that sort of trick.
I also think it's not totally driven by the players going, I can get it for $3, I can get it for $7. I think that there's like an algorithm going on where just the fact that you have your game for sale means it shows up on more pages that people randomly see and leads to people find it.
I think it's both of those. I think it's that as well that you just mentioned. I think it's both, right? Because me as a viewer, as a buyer, I'm just going off of like what I get when I see a game and the impression, because a lot of times
and there are games. Like there's games that I look at and I'm like, I don't think I want to pay $42 for that, and then sometimes it's on sale for like 14 or something, and I'm like, okay, it's worth it for me to try this out now.
Real quick, Riggy 2K says, I do agree 15 is too high. I probably spend $10 max for this, bugs aside. I agree. Some of these sales are deceptive, says part-time experience, for sure. Especially during the big sales on Steam. And I think the worst culprits of that sometimes it's like Ubisoft with all of their Assassin's Creed games. Some games are they're super old, 12 years old, and they're full price, but then they say full price, but then they're marked down to a reduced price that usually is the average price you buy that game for after it's 10 years old, right? It'll be like 90% off is $9.99, but it was like, it's like $7.99, but it was from the full price or whatever that was. So it's still something you want to be liberal about and like per purchase look at what makes sense, but generally utilizing the sale tactic leaves the developer with a certain amount of return and a little bit of like, what do you call it? Like, you're going to make money, but also setting it at a certain number that makes the buyer feel like they're getting some value. And it's tough to kind of find that middle ground, you know?
Yep.
I think same thing. Like, I would have been like, make it $10, throw it on sale. But to be honest, I was so excited about the presentation when I seen it in the top 10 that I was like, shoot, man, the peer pressure got me. I'm like, it must be that good if it's this amount of money. So I went with a high faith requirement going in. Like, I had a lot of faith going in. So, and then I kind of was let down.
Do you feel like it's worth? Do you feel like it was worth the value, 15? Or do you think it was another value?
No, I don't. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 on sale.
10 on sale for like 6 or 7 or something. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. And that's just kind of like how I think it would have probably been most well received, and also like, I know it's like an indie developer, so we ran into this random bug. You wouldn't feel like you was out so much money because you took a chance on a game that was like an indie developer and you ran into a bug, right? So I don't know. I'm just trying to like give it benefit of the doubt. It's like, oh, all this uniqueness, all this probably like funniness, all this like potential enjoyment, but it's marred by like a random bug in the game. And it kind of hard. It's like a dance you're doing, especially as a RPG indie game developer, right? You're trying to get away from that stigma of RPG makers games are usually shovelware. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's a dance.
Yeah.
If you're gonna price your game that darn high, then you better come with something that just really is outstanding. That thing is outstanding.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And like partially the reason, partially too the reason why I don't charge as much as I could probably get away with is because like I realize because I'm thinking long term, so I'm trying to create something that I can even go back to and improve something in it later, like 3 years from now if I feel like it. But I release when I think it's good enough for now, and then and like pricing it too high means that people are going to be more critical if there's like a few rough edges here or there, and so that's kind of why I don't price it as like high as I might be able to get away with. But that's just me. That's just my logic.
For sure.
So.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to the the fulcrum of our review of a pretty interesting game that I'm gonna finish playing called WOYO. Let us know in our comments of this video, and join our community if you like as well. Let us know if you have a game coming up, any games that you've liked, or any feedback on this game we reviewed. We're going to do our best to get back to you again next week. And without further ado, is there anything else you wanted to add, Cychronic?
So next week, are we doing what was the previous wheel spin, or has Dungeon Rummage Survivor, was that the next one, or are we holding off on that one for now? Because before WOYO popped up, D7 spun the wheel and it was Dungeon Rummage Survivor.
Dang, well, my bad. Yeah,
next, or
we could for sure.
If SG Harlequin is here, maybe he could let us know if he wants us to do that one or not.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that. Right, I was like, so his submission was reviewed. His submission was removed. Okay. I didn't think like, but
okay, I didn't know that.
Okay, that helps because I didn't know either. Right, I didn't even know it was a will, and then what was decided from the will. I was just kind of hung up on the fact that, like, if we're going to keep this going, we need a game. What do we pick? And then, I was just going off that. So
I think the next, I think the next one is a wheel pick, and then the one after that is, I guess, my choice.
Got it. All right. So now we got a semblance of a schedule, and we will be back at you next week with a wheel pick. Somebody else has to spin the wheel because I don't even know where the wheel is. So we'll probably bug D7.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll do it. I'll let you know what it is.
Great. All right. Well, with that being said, this is a bit of a shorter podcast because we don't have 3. So it's literally like 1/3 chopped off of the time because, 1/3 of the podcast doesn't have to talk. So anyway.
No, it's okay if some of them are a little shorter and some of them are a little longer. It's going to depend.
For sure. Anyway, Happy New Year again, everyone. Pleasure hanging out with you guys, and see you again next week.
See you on the next one.
All right.
Take it easy.
Peace out.